Yo, what's going on, team? I am back in the building. You guys know what time it is. It is time to review It Chapter 2. Roll the trailer.
Something happens to you when you leave this town. The farther away, the hazier it all gets. But me, I never left. I remember all of it.
I craved you. I missed you.
That was one of my favorite trailers this year because it was just so freaking eerie. It just had that It vibe. It just made you, had you at the edge of the seat, made you really want to go watch It Chapter 2. Let's see if the film kept that same energy. Let's talk about the story and script. This film takes place 27 years after It Part 1, where we find the loser crew living their best lives until they get a phone call from the only member, yes guys, the only member who stayed behind in Derry, Maine, the black guy, Mike, that Pennywise has returned and the loser crew must assemble in Derry to defeat and kill Pennywise. Personally, I like the story. I like it. It's like, yo, we thought we had you when we were kids, but you want to come back. So now we got to come back and defeat and kill you, Pennywise. I like that. This is the problem. The script. The script did not handle that story correctly. The script did a poor job of explaining where the loser crew has been in the last 27 years. The script had poor pacing. There were so many boring scenes that didn't need to be there. The script tried its best to take so much from the TV special and some of what I know of the book and cram it all in this movie, and it hurt the film because there was points where you realize this audience isn't a book audience. This is a film going audience. So kind of get to the point because you're messing it up for us. In fact, the script felt very juvenile in a lot of moments, and it was like, yo, I thought this is rated R. Like, why is it so juvenile though? You know what I mean? The script was really bad. It really hurt this movie. This film was directed by Andy Muschietti. Hope I said his last name correctly. I thought he did a really good job of capturing Pennywise. I thought he did a really good job of capturing the fear in Pennywise's prey, the innocence of his prey, and even the loser crew. Capturing their fears and what Pennywise put upon them. I thought he did a really good job with that. But because the script felt very juvenile in a lot of moments, I felt it dropped the directing because it threw me out of it. He wasn't able to withhold those shots for me because they would turn juvenile. And I didn't like that, personally. The directing was cool, but it could have been way better. Let's talk about the cast. First on my list, I want to talk about James McAvoy. I like James McAvoy's take on Bill because it was funny because when James McAvoy's character Bill wasn't in Derry, he was normal. But as soon as he got a phone call, I gotta go home. Like, it was James McAvoy, you know, y'all seen him in Split, and he was able to take that Split shit and basically bring it over here in It, and I thought he did a really good job doing that. The next person that I really enjoy seeing is Bill Skarsgård as Pennywise. The guy is phenomenal. The way he talks is just so sinister and believable. Like, Pennywise is just one of the biggest tricksters of them all. Yo, it's like nothing is no obstacle he can't tackle. And you see it when he goes after his prey. And Bill was really able to bring that shit to light. And I really dug it. My favorite actor in this film, though, was Bill Hader. And the reason why is because he played a character named Richie. Richie was the kid that was telling all the jokes and very and used a lot of profanity. And personally, I didn't really like him in It Part 1. However, he's grown up now. And the way Bill Hader handled the character, I thought, was proper. And the reason why I say that is because you think to yourself, all right, this guy grows up to be a comedian. Funny guy, got movies, everything. How would a comedian really act in this type of environment? You're terrified. I mean, you can shit yourself any moment. And the way Bill Hader handled it, he was able to really throw jokes in, and you could tell that comedy was his comfort zone. And I really dug that because it really put a new insight on him as an actor for me, and a comedian character in a horror movie or a thrilling film. I really dug that. Bill Hader really, to me, did the best out of everybody. Jessica Chastain, all of them was good. You know what I mean? None of them were bad, but it was just like those three really stood out for me. And I dug it. Music was done by Benjamin Wallfischler. I hope I said his last name right. Very eerie, on point. It gave you a great It vibe. It had you kind of feeling some type of way, and it really enhanced the suspenseful theme of the movie. Benjamin did a very phenomenal job with this score in this film. Pros, cons. My biggest pro of this whole movie was the casting. I'm like, yo, you hired the right people to play the adult version of them kids. I mean, Jay Ryan looks just like Ben. I can see a big fat kid growing into that big muscular motherfreaker Jay Ryan. I'm like, yo, big pro of mine. I loved it. I loved the music. I loved Pennywise. Those were great elements of the movie. Cons. It's still a con of mine because it hurt this movie even more. The time. In the original, I believe the film took place in the 50s or the early 60s, right? And it made sense why things like that would happen to Georgie. Little boy walking outside, get his arm ripped off and shit, like, it makes sense. But not in the 80s. You know what I mean? I know it's Derry, and I know Derry's a little eerie, like Erie, Indiana and stuff like that. I get it. I get all that. But it really takes you out of it because you're like, yo, what kid would do that in the 80s? You just had Jeffrey Dahmer and you know, eating motherfreakers and shit, and you know what I mean? You got America's Most Wanted. You got all cops, and you got all this stuff going on in the 80s that are starting to grow, and you're like, why doesn't no one care? Like, kids are missing, and there's like a wall memorial of missing children, and people keep popping out babies. Like, it's weird, and it really puts you in another state of mind. And if you brought the movie to the, you know, the early 60s, late 50s, then it'll be more logical because this is something that's unheard of. And then to come into the 80s with all the baggage that happened, then it would make more sense. You see what I'm saying? That's what really hurt the movie for me. Time. I mean, we're in 2015 and things are like this is happening and people are just like, okay, well, I guess whatever. You know what I mean? I'm like, that's stupid to me. I don't like that. I didn't like the time. And I didn't like the fact that the movie felt very juvenile. And it's funny because I use Erie, Indiana. This movie felt like Erie, Indiana and Goosebumps times 5. Like, it felt like, you know, Goosebumps was kind of designed for, what is it, Y7, 7 years old and older. This was kind of designed for 14-year-olds and older. Like, it really felt juvenile. There were things about Pennywise that they took away from him that made him scary. Well, I think he was exactly the same, but it was different when you're looking in a kid's perspective and not a grown-up's perspective. A grown-up won't look at shit like that. Like, what would scare a black man? Oh, shit. I'm having a baby and it's yours, nigga. Oh, fuck. I'm too young to have a kid. You know, obstacles. You know, I want a divorce and I'm taking half. Oh, fear. Not no googly-eyed monster running around and shit. That shit's whack. Like, that's juvenile. You know what I mean? Real life shit. Like, yo, you know what I mean? Like, you're fired. Oh, I lost my job. I'm a billionaire. You know, Wall Street has crashed. Things like that I think would have been a little bit more grown-up-ish. You know, it felt very juvenile. It's like, what the fuck, man? Like, I don't want them problems. And you know what I mean? And it took you out of the movie. I found myself laughing. And I think I only jumped one time. And the reason why I jumped is because I was reaching for my cinnamon twist. And I didn't see the setup of the scene. And something just popped at me. So, you know what I mean? Like, it was like, yo, like, it just didn't. It took away all the morality of Pennywise and made it a joke. It felt like a big comedy. Like, especially the final scene. Like, it was like, yo, this is a joke. They try to make it serious. But then it became even a bigger joke to you. And it was like, let's give this film a grade. It Chapter 2. I ain't gonna lie, trailers was fire. I liked the movie. it just had poor pacing. The casting was good. Directing was cool. Captured a lot of good shots. But at the same time, it felt very juvenile. And I feel like within the next 4 years, I could show my daughter this movie and she'd be like, you know what I mean? It Chapter 2. I give it a C+. It's a C+ movie because of the juvenile theme. If it was felt a little bit more grown up, I ain't gonna lie, it could have easily went B+, maybe A-. But because it felt so juvenile in so many spots and it was boring in so many spots, you're like, yo, I don't even care. Show me some deaths, bruh. What's up? Like, you know what I mean? It was like, yo, like, it was stupid, man. And when you think about certain scenes, like, yo, we're grown now. And I'm old enough to buy a firearm and grenades and let's go to war. And then you look at the movie and they're like, I have nothing. You're kind of like, this is some childish shit right here, bruh. But that's the review, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'm J3. If you're new to the channel, go ahead and push that subscribe button, thumbs this video up, and don't forget to share Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. I would love to know what you guys thought about it in the comments down below. If you liked it, tell me why you liked it. If you didn't like it, tell me why you didn't like it. I'm J3, and I'm out.